Have you ever heard a Micro Four Thirds loser try to convince you that his glass is equivalent to a full frame, only smaller? I have a 300mm Tony 4. That's equivalent to a 600 Tony 4. No. Today I will show you the difference between a crop sensor, which we're on now, and we'll switch to full frame with the same lenses, and you'll see some stuff that changes that Micro Four Thirds losers won't admit to themselves or their parents.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So we're on the Canon C100 Mark II with the EF 24mm 1.4 Mark I in autofocus, wide open. And I'm going to switch to the Nikon Z6 III with the new Fringer adapter. So that should allow autofocus on Canon lenses. So here's the deal. I'm going to break it down for you like you're a child. I'm assuming you were dropped on your head and you're being fed porridge right now. So a full frame sensor is the full sensor. It's the biggest one. Medium format doesn't exist. It has a lesser sounding name, medium. Full frame is the best, and we will switch to it soon. Everything else is a crop of that full frame. So like, I should have been on the full frame to start to show this. Oh, I am as stupid as shit. But there's a lot of confusion as to what causes the background blur to be more blurry, because people will say full frame gives you a better background blur, and then some like equivalence math Nazi scientists will come to you and say, no, that's not true, bro. It's the distance from the camera. That's what... There's a lot of factors at play, you asshole, but the problem is, if you want the same shot, which is what you do, you plan your shot. So like, I wanted a talking head video where the bottom of my ribs are in the shot, and this is what I want to film with today. If I do that on the full frame with the same lens, I'm obliterating the background more, and let me show you why and how that is. Okay, some things happened, didn't they? Different shot. We're on the Z6 III now, same exact lens. I'm on the same log here, same train track piece of wood. It has green paint on it. I know I didn't move. Did you move? So like, things got very different. Now, the funny thing is, what I'm curious about, if I stay in the same place, we should have the same exact equivalent. If I were to crop in post, side by side with that dork who doesn't even own a full frame camera, we should have an exact replica, because crop sensors are just cropping in on the image. So is that true, or is that a lie? We're on Nikon red color science. So basically, what if I wanted to replicate that shot that we had earlier, where the ribs were the focal point, maybe something like that? I don't think I even nailed it. So now we are the same framing as that dork bitch, but the background is obliterated. Do you even want that? Probably not. This is stupid. I should be stopping it down to Tony 19, but I'm not going to. So as you can see, we are not equivalent at all with your crop. Oh, I'm also on my 1.4 lens. No, full frame is the truth, and you're the lie. So stop pretending that your tiny micro bitch in the pants could please anyone. Now the review within this review, this tutorial by the master here, is the Fringer adapter. Are we autofocusing specially and smoothly? That's what I want to know personally. Because if I can use now my Canon EF Glory lenses on a full frame Nikon with red color science, are you joking right now? And I could actually just come out here in nature and be a 3D pop example that the world needs right now, and the autofocus is doing that for me? Did I bring other Canon lenses that we're about to switch to? I did. 85mm, that's coming to you. But so far, how are we doing on it? Can I just leave the frame and come back and say, hey man, all right, we're starting the video, I trust you. I trust you, Fring. That was not smooth, but it got you. I have a feeling you can't just move around like this. So I have proved my point on this lens. Let's switch the lenses. So when it comes to light gathering, we're now on the 85mm 1.2 Canon C100 Mark II, cropped So this is like 127 or something. Similar shot to the beginning, framing wise, to the 24mm. And you can see, now that I'm further away from the camera, we're talking like 7 pieces of wood distance increased, if anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a lie. Now I should have stopped it down to 1.4 to display this, and I will do that now. Okay, so right now we're both at 1.4, but I'm on the 85, he's on the 24, same camera, but the distance has increased. I am further away from the camera. All these equivalent Nazis tell you that the background blur should be less now, I think, is what their argument is. Don't quote me on that. Are we seeing a difference? It should be that since I have a telephoto glass now, it's more background blur. How could it not be? Now when it comes to light gathering, this is the thing that pisses me off the most. You would not believe how much it angers me. When I'm talking about Tony 1.4 this, Tony 2 that, it's always about the background blur. That's what I'm referring to. Never once has it crossed my mind that, oh, more light gathers in. I collect the photons in a basket and more light is here with me, and so I'm equivalent. The autofocus might have, I felt like I shrunk a lot. There's zero chance I'm in anymore. Abort that emission. No one cares about your light. Your 300mm 24 gathers more light than my Nikon 600mm 6.3. Yeah, show me in the real world. Show me in the real world, buddy. Your bullshit shot with your background in focus and light not mattering. Because ISO, it's like a made up number. All these, I've done it. Micro Four Thirds versus full frame, same exact settings. And then the Micro Four Thirds will seem brighter at some point and you're like, wow, light gathering is equivalent, but then your shot sucks. And then the ISO, you go a little higher and it's like, oh my God, the full frame ISO being so high is magic and still good, whereas your shot sucks. Switching now to the Nikon full frame. Okay, now we're full frame, same lens, same log, same bat channel. Things have changed now. Side by side with the original guy at 1.2 still. I remember that I changed it. I toned down a little bit. 1.2, 1.2. Full frame, same spot. I'm smaller. He could beat me up. He's a bigger guy. He's a giant. He used to rule our Earth, but then the flood happened, and I made a boat, and I was on the boat. Was he allowed on the boat? Did you see the no giant sign? Yeah. So they're no longer with us. But what if I wanted to replicate in a perfect autofocusing like manner that similar shot? That's not it at all. Oh God, I suck at this. I don't remember where my ribs were. I gave one to make Eve. Relax. So now we're seeing it side by side with that guy. Your crop sensor, not so impressive anymore, is it? The Fringer adapter allowing us to autofocus Canon lenses on a Nikon, a marriage no one ever thought would happen, but it is happening, and it's happening now perfectly so. And no matter how far away I get from the camera, I trust that Fringer and Nikon and Canon, they had a meeting, they're working together, and the 3D pop is real. It's real hard. Come on now. Now I do have one more lens to test, the 135 Tony II. I think I'm just gonna put it on this. We don't need to see that on the C100 cropped in 200 millimeters. Give me a joke. Give me a joke. So, all this to say, don't be sad because you have Micro Four Thirds. You're 87 years old, your back hurts. You've lived your life. Now you still wanna take pictures even though you're blind as a bat and you can't appreciate them. Someone will look on your Instagram. Someone's looking. And so like you saved the weight, I got Micro Four Thirds. This is so much lighter than my full frame. It's just as good. I believe you. It's good. Good quality. I love that Micro Four Thirds look. And all the lenses. If it was me, I could totally be happy. I'm waiting for the body to wield the Leica lenses. Imagine Leica 42.5mm, 21.2 right now on a G9 III that actually did 480 frames per second with autofocus. And for me personally, as a YouTube scrub, I like the full frame look. It's what I'm going for. And nowadays, Full frame cameras are like as cheap, if not cheaper than the crop. You can get a Canon R8 for like $11, $1,100 maybe. It's cheap. It's cheaper than the R7. So it's like you have the ZVE1, that's on sale now, $1,900. Is that a hawk? You're not saving much weight. Canon R8 with the 50mm RF 1.8, like that's so light, it's ridiculous. Now my Sony ZVE1 with that Viltrox 28mm 24.5, are you joking? I literally put it in my pocket. It was literally right in there, and I didn't even notice it. Like, full frame can be small. Okay, I'm 9 logs away. I'm gonna stay here, but put the Canon EF 135mm 22 on. Boom. We're 9 furlongs away now. 135 instead of the 85. A Tony 2 instead of a 1.2, but more compression. Same place. What happened? That's like more than a stop. Huh? Let's stop in a third, if anything. Does he look sharper, better? I love this lens. Totally gonna sell it. I do not see the point of having a 135mm. I had to see myself. It's glorious. Sharper than any lens I own. Beautiful. But, like, why? Like, you have to be so far away. Is the compression worth it? It is. But this one makes me nervous, the autofocus. The Fringer in my living room. You weren't too happy, were you? You were doing stuff that I didn't approve of. A lot of hunting. So, full frame versus crop. You'll be fine. You don't need the full frame now. You work up to it. You'll get there one day. You mow a couple lawns. You do whatever you're doing. And then, like, one day you reach it. And you're fine. Even if you're not exposed properly. I don't know how to do that. I'll never learn either. The background, you could bring it in if you wanted. I chose not to. I chose it. That's me. So to recap, right now, 135mm 22 rib shot. Similar framing potentially. We started with the Canon C100 crop sensor, 1.5-ish. Some say 1.53. Who knows? 24mm, 1.4. I'm a Tony 2. Huh. Then we switched to the full frame version of that. Same shot, I'm just trying to replicate the rib shot. This is what that looks. Full frame 24 versus 135 for some reason, if you were curious. Then we went to the 85mm 1.2 on Canon, still a crop. But are you this? Similar focal length now. We're talking crop on an 85, you're reaching here. This should be very similar. Only you had more Tonys, but who has the more Tony now? And then we went to the 85mm 1.2 on full frame versus 135 Tony 2. Same framing. Not one person cares about any of this, only me. But someone might want to know. You could want to know. What I love about full frame that you don't seem to get on the crop sensors is when you're really far away from the camera and you can totally 100% trust Fringer to be demonstrating what I want to prove, is that when you're so far away, you're still popping. I think it has more to do with the lens, but full frame's just better. I mean, what are you gonna do? Say you want a certain shot and you buy a crop sensor camera, you don't have the same lenses available. They're much worse lenses, so you can use a full frame, and if you want telephoto stuff like this, then okay. But if you want wider, it's very hard to get a really nice wide prime. You ain't getting it. It's just not gonna happen. Like my Voigtlander 21mm 1.4 for Sony, what are you gonna do? You put that on a super crop, and you're like 35 mils if it was a foot. So it's not the same. It's harder. So thank you, Fringer, for sending me the adapter. What the hell? It looked like I was out of focus there. I'll let that slide for now. But like, it seems trustworthy. I can stop down the Tonys, manual focus if I want. Now I feel more comfortable. I can use my EF glass on a Nikon. We're good to go. We learned some stuff, full frame versus crop. Things were had. So what are your opinions? What did I get wrong? Post it down below. The real equivalence was the light gathering. ISO doubled when the fractions. Your mom's a fraction. I'll leave. There's Bitcoin things up there. You can just toss them into the wallet. Ah, Fringer. Fringer's doing it. I'm leaving. Fringer still has me. I love that it continues to track me even though I'm an ant in the frame. I love that. That's new technology for you. There's a squirrel.